Now, if you're on a coaching or consulting business, you've probably come across this argument one way or the other of people talking about paid ads versus organic marketing and what should I run for my business. Now, the reason I'm making this video is to expose the pros and cons of paid ads and organic marketing so that you can know exactly what to choose for your business and how to approach each strategy. By the end of this video, you're going to know, hey, should I go with paid ads or should I go with organic marketing for my coaching or consulting business? And without further ado, let's get right into the pros and cons of paid advertising. One of my favorite things about paid ads is that it's all math, right? If you can financially model out your outcomes based on an underperforming campaign, an overperforming campaign, or maybe even an average campaign, you know exactly what numbers you need to fix or what you need to tweak within your funnel to get to the next level. So let's say it costs you $1,500 to acquire clients, and each one of those clients is worth $5,000 to you. You know inherently that if you spend $3,000, you're going to make $10,000 back because each customer is worth $5,000 to you, and 5 times 2 is 10. So it's very mathematical. You can absolutely model out every outcome that you are potentially going to get. And once you look at the metrics, you know what, you can obviously figure out what the bottlenecks are. This takes, quite some skill and also a bit of time to kind of understand what to look for in the funnel that is probably broken. But again, you can look at, let's say if your CTR is low, you know that if your CTR is the bottleneck that is holding the ad campaign back from scaling, you know that, okay, I need to go film some new ads. Maybe I need to film some new hooks, and I need to make the ads better. If your landing page application rate is like very low, you know that you need to probably maybe change up the VSL, or maybe look at the headline, or maybe just look at the overall headline complex and the landing page in general. If you're not getting enough booked calls and people are dropping off in the type form, then maybe you can consider, reducing the amount of questions in the type form. So it's very mathematical, and you can look at all of the bottlenecks within your system and identify which ones you need to fix in order to scale. So I love that fact about paid ads. I think it's amazing. It's very difficult to do the same with organic marketing, even though I think it is possible. I think it is possible. Maybe I just don't have, much information about it. But again, I have a personal brand, and I haven't really been able to, mathematically model out as much as I can with paid ads. So that's a huge pro. And then number 2 is that it's faster to scale and it is very repeatable. So once you find a winning angle with paid ads, you can scale that bitch to you can absolutely fucking turbo scale that shit to the moon until it fucking breaks, right? Again, this requires skill. This doesn't mean that you're going to take a campaign from $1,000 a day to $10,000 a day. It's probably going to go wrong. But again, if you have the skill, you can absolutely scale it way faster. And you can scale you can scale it really, really fast. So, and it's very repeatable. You can literally take the ad angles and the, ad ideas that you have, and you can use that to create, multiple different variations and use that to scale the campaign. And that way you can, get to ridiculous amounts of revenue very fast. One of the huge pros of paid advertising is that it's all math, right? People don't understand the fact that you can financially model out the outcomes that you are potentially going to get based on a campaign that's underperforming, overperforming, or even, one that has average performance. You can look at all of the numbers. And if, let's say, a customer is worth about $5,000 to you, and you spend $1,500 to acquire clients, you know that if you spend $3,000, you're going to make $10,000 back. And that's based on the math that you've done prior to launching the campaign. So it's absolutely essential to financially model out your outcomes, because you can see all of the metrics. If your application rate is low, if your application rate is the reason why your campaigns are not scaling, then you know that that's the bottleneck, and you need to probably go change up the landing page, change the headline, maybe change the VSL, or make some adjustments that are going to help you remove that bottleneck. If your CTR is a problem, it means maybe you need new ads, maybe your hooks aren't resonating enough, or maybe the ad angles aren't just hitting the right type of audience. Because I used to have a problem with my ads as well. When I started running ads, where I would create ads and it would just go into the wrong buckets of people, and I would be like, shit, why is this happening, right? So, but if you can financially model out your outcomes, you can figure out what the problems are, and you can go in and fix it, because it's all math. Now, the next one is it's faster to scale and it's very repeatable. So once you find a winning angle, you can absolutely scale it. Obviously, there's some nuance to this, but again, I feel like it's way faster to scale and very, very repeatable as opposed to organic marketing. And that's what I found with, working with a lot of people who run ads and also like building out these funnels for clients as well. Because once you find a winning creative, you can literally take that, duplicate that, make variants of that same ad creative and use that to scale the campaign. So that's another pro of paid advertising. And the number 3 is that you don't need to show your face on the internet. So you can literally stay anonymous and still make a shit ton of money. And there's a lot of people like that guaranteed like right now. And if you're someone who is shy or you don't want to be on camera, then paid ads might be the thing for you, right? If you want to run a coaching business where you don't want your face to be behind, you don't want to be the face behind the program, or you don't want to be the face behind the brand or the whatever service you offer, you don't have to show your face. You can hire UGC creators and you can have them go run ads for you. You can have them record the ads for you and you run them and you get clients through the door, and that way you stay anonymous forever. You never have to show your face on the ads whatsoever. So it's a huge pro if you're someone who doesn't want to have a personal brand, or you just don't want to put yourself out there. That's something you could consider. Number 4 is the closest thing to printing money once you figure it out, right? It's a force multiply. And I've told this to multiple of my friends when we're talking about, I'm like, yo, if you find one winning ad, you have no idea how much fucking money you can make, right? It's difficult. Don't get me wrong. But again, if you find the ad angle that works and you fucking rip that thing, you're going to make a lot of money. And that's just what it is. It's the closest thing to printing money. You put one in, you get 3 out, you may even get 5 out or even 7 out if it's really, really overperforming. So that's something I love about paid ads as well. Now, number 5 is that it forces you to learn real marketing, and this kind of marketing can be applied to any business whatsoever. Any business on the face of the earth can benefit from paid ads, and it forces you to learn real marketing. With organic, it's slightly different. I'm going to go through that in a second. But again, when you're selling to cold traffic, you literally have the smallest amount of time to convince them. Right now, with short form content and all of these things, all of these types of TikToks, Reels, and all of these things that are being put out, people have very short attention spans. And when you're going after people who have no idea who you are, you have no idea the amount of work or the kind of marketing that you have to do to get those people to come in, maybe make a purchase on the page, maybe buy your SaaS, or maybe even booking a call to speak with you to buy like a $10,000 service. It takes real marketing. It takes real skill. And it forces you to learn this skill that can be applied to any business, which is a huge pro. You can make a lot of money for yourself this way, and you can take this and sell it to other businesses and make a ton of money for them as well. So I think that's a huge pro. And number 6 is that it can be extremely consistent. Now, both paid ads and organic marketing also rely on the algorithms. But again, with paid ads, I would say it's more consistent because there's not a lot that Meta and all of these platforms, like Meta recently released an update called the Andromeda update, which changed the way that we are going to advertise on Meta. But again, I would say it's less frequent, right? It can be extremely consistent. There are people that have ads that have been running for like years on end, and those ads are still profitable even until now. So it's very consistent in that way, and it's not really the same with organic marketing, because organic marketing, there's a lot of shifts. People are consuming differently, so platforms have to adapt. But with paid ads, it's very consistent. There's slight changes, but also it can be very, 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 very consistent. Now we're going to some of the cons of paid ads. I don't know, should I do the organic marketing? Let's do some of the pros of organic marketing first. So some of the pros of organic marketing are it's free to start, right? And this is how I started. I started building my personal brand on Twitter, then switched to YouTube, and then Instagram, and all of these, LinkedIn, and all of these platforms. It's free. All of these platforms, absolutely free, which is a wonderful thing, right? You don't need any money to start, whereas on paid ads, you're risking money and you have to be able to put your balls on the table. But organic marketing, absolutely free to start, which is a huge advantage because anyone can do it. Now, number 2 is you can make a lot of money through your personal brand because people know, like, and trust you. And I can attest to that because I've made well over 6 figures directly through my personal brand without having to spend any money on ads whatsoever. And you can build a lot of trust with people. You can make people like you just directly through your personal brand. And I think that's a huge pro. I think every single person should have a personal brand. I think you should have a personal brand if you're starting out, unless you just don't want to show your face on the internet, or you just don't want to make videos and stuff like that. But I think if you want to make money, you should be willing to put yourself out there. But again, that's to each his own. Number 3 is you can build connections with some of the top people in your space. And because, you establish a lot of goodwill, a lot of people want to reciprocate that, and that leads to you building connections with some of the big people in your space, because they've consumed a lot of the information that you've put out, and they're like, hey, this guy might be cool to connect with. And you already have it's well framed when you meet them. It's not like you're coming to them for help. It's like you guys have it's called I think it's called a parasocial relationship, where they know you but you have no idea who they are, and they love you but you have no idea who they are. So that's something I think is a huge pro. I actually met my mentor through my personal brand, just from posting on Twitter and stuff like that. So I think it can be extremely valuable in that sense. Now, number 4 is you can get access to top tier talents that want to work with you. Now, most businesses who don't have a personal brand, or use social media that much, they have to go out of their way to sift through employees, people that just are there for the paycheck. And again, not to say that the paycheck is a bad thing, but if you only have people who are motivated by the paycheck in your company, it's going to make it very difficult to scale, because you don't really have a culture around what you're building or the impact you want to have. And that's going to make it real difficult for you. And if you want to get access to top tier talent, people that want to work with you, people that have gotten value from the content that you've put out, a personal brand is the best way to do it. You're going to get access to some of the best people in the space to want to come on. Some people even quit their companies to come work for you because they believe so much in what you're doing. So I think that's a huge pro of organic marketing. Number 5 is you get, very huge negotiating privilege, especially if you're very established personal brand. People like, Eman, Jordan Welch, all of these people, they get you can hear them talking about it. They get huge negotiating privilege because they have a personal brand that can help any company that they're working with. So they are in a position where they can say what they want, and they can get it a lot of the time because they have a huge asset that they can use to grow any company, or at least contribute to the growth of that company. So that's a huge one. Number 6 is that it compounds over time. So if you're posting content, for a year, for example, maybe 6 months, you may not see the results immediately, but over time it compounds into this thing that just, obviously you need to, keep oiling it and keep posting content, but it has compounding that is, it's really good. And when you experience, it's if you've been in the space, providing value for over, let's say, a year, even 12 months, 16 months, 18 months, and people get to know you. A lot of people, I've gotten people just refer work to me, people who have no idea, people who haven't worked with me before, they just seen my content, and they're just referring a lot of work to me because they know that I'm the guy for this stuff, right? So it compounds over time. People get to know you, and the thing is, not everyone can keep up with building a personal brand. So a lot of people drop off, let's say, before they even hit it big. So they don't really get to experience that compounding. But if you can stay through the period where, you're getting very little reach, you can absolutely, dominate the space. So that's a huge one. And number 7, it's way easier. I should have put that, up there, but it's easier, and beginners can make money using this as well. You can post content, it reaches your ideal customer, and you sell them on what your service is, or you sell them on your course, or your consultant, whatever the case might be. So it's easier in that way, and I like that, a beginner can get started with a personal brand without having to invest any money up front. Now, let us go into the cons of paid ads and the cons of organic marketing. The first one is it is difficult. Paid ads suck balls. It's hard, right? Especially if you're trying to figure it out. If you're trying to figure it out yourself at the start, it's very difficult, right? You have to find someone who knows about paid ads, pay them for a consultation call, ask them questions, tell them, hey, what should I do in this scenario? Let's say my CPMs are going high, all of this stuff. Try to figure it out with someone who knows, someone who's in the space and has generated results with paid ads, or you're just going to, waste a lot of money. And generally, I spent a lot of money, but really didn't see the return until I started working with someone who knew what they were talking about, right? So there's something called the valley of despair when it comes to paid ads, where you're trying to figure it out and it's still not working. It sucks balls. You're gonna hate your life if you go through the valley of despair, which a lot of businesses go through. But again, you can shorten that process by just paying someone who knows paid ads and who can help you achieve results, because it sucks. It sucks. Okay. Now, number 2 is you need to have willingness to lose money, which means you have to put your balls on the table, right? A lot of people don't understand this. If you can take risk, like paid ads are not for you. If you're, if you're very attached to your money, you can't really make money with paid ads. You're not going to be able to invest into paid ads in the first place. So you need to be willing to lose money initially, because you are going to lose money. You are going to be at the negative before you start making money. And just like anything, you're not going to see results maybe in the first month, maybe in the first 30 days, maybe 60 days, just depending on, the cycle, your sales cycle as well, and the amount of time that it takes for you to, let's say, get a client through the door. You might not be able to make results and make your money back. And because you're also trying to test and see what angles the market is going to resonate with, you don't have enough data, you don't know what works. You're just like throwing shit and, trying to see what sticks. So just keep that in mind. You need to be willing to lose money. If you cannot stand losing your own money, paid ads are not for you, unfortunately. Now, number 3 is, you need to run a solid business operation and understand your unit economics to be profitable. And this means it's not for, beginners, right? You need to be someone who has some experience in business to run paid ads, because again, it's not just about your front end ROAS. You need to think about, your upsell mechanisms. You need to think about how much it actually costs for you to fulfill the services, so that you can know exactly how much it costs to get these clients to the door and also fulfill the service. And then think about that. It's called, I think Hormozy, someone called it like, I think it was bundled cost or something like that. But basically, you need to understand all of your numbers. You need to understand how much it costs to fulfill these people, how much it costs to make these ads, how much it costs to edit these VSLs and all of these things. And you need to really run a solid business operation, because let's say your ads start scaling and your ads start working, and you don't have an operation that is going to handle all of the volume, then your business is just going to break. So you need to understand your business operation needs to be solid. You need to have A players in your team. You need to have people that take responsibility, and also you need to understand your unit economics, which are basically what is your cost per qualified call. What does it cost for someone to show up? What does it cost for a qualified call to show up? You need to understand all of these things for you to be able to make it profitable. If not, you're just going to end up wasting a lot of money and, quite honestly, just hating your life. So it's not for beginners. Obviously, if you are a beginner and you think, okay, you can try, obviously go for it. But again, it's not for beginners. Now, the number 4 is that you lose compound interest. So once you turn off your ads, you start making money essentially, right? You lose compound interest. I do think it's some way that you still have compound interest, because you understand what marketing works, you understand what angles work. So I still think it's compound interest in that way. But with personal brands, it's way different, because you don't really, like, even if you do nothing. And again, I think, if you stop tending to anything, it's going to fall off. So I do think, like with both, you still need to be foot to the gas. Still need to keep your foot to the gas if you want to keep making it work. But again, I think with paid ads, like faster to lose compound interest, because it's just like you just need to keep spending money for you to keep getting results. So that's a con of paid ads. Now, cons of organic marketing. We have about 5 here, right? So the number 1 is it is slow as hell. I remember when I started building my personal brand back in October of 2023, and it didn't take too long, to be honest, for me to blow up. It took me about 3 months-ish, because I started in October of 2023, and I blew up. I had a post that blew up around the 3rd of January 2024. So I would say I was lucky in some sense, but again, I have put in the work, and usually a lot of people, it takes more time before they see the results that I saw. But content is slow as hell. You need to be willing to play the long game for years, build up a lot of goodwill, cash in from time to time, or maybe even not cash in at all, like people like Alex Hormozy, and just cash in at very between very long intervals. So it's very slow. It's very slow. Keep that in mind. I have no idea why my voice is breaking. Number 2 is you need to be personable. So people need to like you, right? People need to like you. You need to be someone that people like, right? What's this? So let's see. Okay. So if you're someone who, you don't want to, let's say you don't want to put out your personality there, you don't want people to know what you're like in person, then personal branding is probably not for you. Organic marketing is probably not for you. But again, if you're someone who says, okay, I want to show people my personality, I want people to know what I'm like off camera or maybe off social media, then people are going to love you, because, you're the only one who has a perspective of life on this earth, right? So you need to be personable in that sense. It is absolutely essential if you want to build a personal brand and do organic marketing. Now, number 3 is you rely on the algorithm, and one update could change your entire business. Now, this is one thing where it also affects paid advertising, but not in the way that it affects organic marketing. There's been a lot of updates during like on YouTube X that just wiped out like complete businesses because they're changing the way they operate within the business, and they're changing the way the social media platform is going to is going to operate. So that's one thing that I don't like about relying on organic marketing. Again, it's not something that happens all the time. I remember, I think there was an update that happened when people like on Google, like I think an SEO update like changed up a lot of things, and then people stopped generating revenue like all of a sudden, like stuff like that. You rely on the algorithm a lot for your business, and one update could really change your entire business. So that's one kind of organic marketing. And number 4, it's not consistent. Like you cannot predict it. With paid ads, you can absolutely predict how much you're going to make, but with organic marketing, you cannot predict how much you're going to make. It's someone coming to you. Obviously, you could initiate warm outreach to your audience, but again, it's not consistent, and you cannot predict how much you're going to make, which is something that I don't like. I don't like waiting on someone to reach out to me or referrals. I prefer to be in a position where I can predict that person is going to come to me today. So it doesn't teach you how to sell to cold traffic as well. It doesn't challenge you as much as paid advertising, right? So I'll recommend everyone absolutely try paid advertising, because it's going to teach you how to sell to cold traffic. And if you can sell to cold traffic, you can really sell anything, because you're selling to people who have zero idea who you are. They don't like you, they don't trust you, they have no idea who you are. So it doesn't challenge you that much. It is challenging, but not in the way that paid ads challenge you. Paid ads really challenge you to become a better marketer, right? So which one should you choose for your coaching, consulting business, or maybe even an agency business, or just any business in general? Because we've worked at a military company even at this point. So which one should you choose, right? Let's settle the argument. You should choose both, right? You should do both. It shouldn't be one or the other. It should be both. If you have paid ads, it's going to be amplified by your organic marketing. And if you have organic marketing, then it's going to be amplified by your paid ads. So you should do both. It's not one or the other. You can make a lot of money using both. It's kind of, I think a lot of people who are not knowledgeable are trying to say, oh, it's, paid ads or it's organic marketing. But you should do both. Like, what's a reason not to do both? Like, there's literally no reason, because you can make money doing both. And in my experience, it just helps a lot. It just helps, number one, with your framing and, the buyer journey as well. I was running a webinar funnel, and a prospect booked a call from my Instagram without registering for the webinar funnel, for the webinar that we're going to be hosting. So that's, a huge pro. Like, I didn't have to, that was all through, it was basically like the buyer journey was kind of scurried in a way, because, I had these ads running. I also had my Instagram, I had my YouTube, and I had my X. So this person went directly to my Instagram and booked a call, even if they came from paid ads. So my brain is probably tweaking right now, but anyways, you get the point that I'm trying to make. You should do both. And again, if you need someone to help you set up your ad funnel from A to Z, your landing pages, your email flows, your VSLs, your ad scripts, editing, your ad script, both the scripting and the editing, your VSL scripting and the editing, there's no better place than us. We're going to help you do that if you want it completely done for you. And again, if you don't want that completely done for you, and you don't want to learn how to build out a funnel yourself, also book a call. Click the link in the description, book a call with me, and I'll see if and how we can help you. We have different programs. We have a done with you. We have templates. We also have the done for you, where we build out the entire funnel from you from start to finish. We also have the done with you, where we teach you how to build out paid ads funnels like this. So with that being said, I hope you got value from the video, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Like, subscribe to the channel, and also leave a comment down below if you got any value out of this, and I'll see you soon.